It is said St. Lucia, with its magical volcanic peaks, rainforests, and rare fauna, is the most romantic island in the Caribbean. Perhaps that is the reason why the English and French fought over it 14 times. To this day, it attracts romantic couples and adventurers sailing the oceans. In spite of that, only few discover its real character. What is hidden behind the boundary of perfection, which many do not cross? Is St. Lucia also a paradise for the locals?
There are moments we wish could last forever, particularly in places which we are attracted to like a magnet. The local pristine kingdom of coral rises from the fathomless depths. The desire to capture its beauty and find a mutual connection between the quiet undersea world and the colorful life on shore became the goal of our next escape to nature.
Black sand beaches here on this island are truly amazing. In today's hustle and bustle world, one could really not ask for much more peace inside one's soul than to live on a very truly unique island such as St. Lucia.
Originally the site of one of the first Indian settlements, today we can find the remarkable plantation of Balinbush with its 18th century building.
It was about 30 years ago. I came here on holiday and my father-in-law said, "Uta, don't worry about the problems at the estate." The farm was quite devastated after a hurricane. He was telling me not to worry, the nature would heal itself. Within several days, I became convinced I could sort out many of the problems. My parents taught me back home in Austria how to farm and how to take care of a garden. Later, I spent some time in the Far East working as an interior designer, which gave me an experience of different cultures. That background was good preparation for dealing with the local problems. I sensed that Balinbush was a very spiritual place, and I was feeling a strong bond to nature here. I became the guardian of it. Balinbush really is a very magical place. I'm sensitive to spiritual energy, and that too made me decide to stay here and protect the farm. Most people would not respect this aspect and would not take care of it.
The riches of the locals are not only represented by their natural wealth, but also by a sense of humility and respect for their own skills and talents.
I started with my mother at the age of 9 years. We were learning to clean, pound, carry the clay. And after I left school, I keep on doing the same.
Irene Alphonse has devoted her life to traditional pottery. Today, her creations grace luxurious residences on the island. In her 40 years of plying her artistic talents, she has collected many prizes, and her distinctive pottery has been presented in several international exhibits.
I'm now known as Zaka, which is a lot easier than my real name.
Simon Gayadar, a local artisan whose fame crossed the borders of the island, grew up in London. His masks are valued trophies to tourists, and many restaurants around the world use them for their distinctive flair in decorating their interiors. His art is inspired by motifs of plants, forests, and the sea, exploiting the natural structure and faults of tropical wood accentuated by colors. The name Zaka, which Simon chose as his business pseudonym, is Haitian for God of the forest, trees, and earth.
Scuba St. Lucia is the probably longest established dive facility on the island. We just received our 30-year PADI award that we are 30-year members with PADI. We are very well equipped. We have about 50 sets of dive equipment. We have about 300 tanks, which are 200 air tanks and 100 nitrox tanks. We offer all kinds of courses from beginner courses to, say, dive master. We have some beautiful reefs to dive on, so people come down to dive on. Very good in macro photography, videography.
Just a few meters from the shore, we encounter a remarkable underwater creature, the frogfish. Its fins are like feet, complete with small toes. He hunts his prey, smaller fish and crustaceans, almost unnoticeably. By quickly opening his jaws, he sucks them in with a lightning speed. Waiting in one place, he tempts the prey on his first dorsal thorn, which is pointing towards his eyes, and reminds us of a fishing rod with bait on its point. They camouflage well and blend with its surroundings.
To miss the lonely seahorse is even easier. Most often, he is attached to seaweed and sea growths. Through its snout, he sucks in water and filters his food from it, fine crustaceans and plankton. The Marine Reservation in Soufrière was established 17 years ago to help stop the tremendous decline in sea life. The amount of fish and corals soon began to rise. Today, the fishermen know where they can and cannot fish.
Some fish are satisfied with a very small territory. The darkfin jawfish makes a corridor in the coral grit or in the sand close to the reefs and hides there during the night.
Evolution has equipped all creatures with a way of protecting themselves, be it a leftover casket or poison in their skin or in its protrusion. I tell everyone, do not touch anything.
We are heading for a nearby plantation, Ants Mamin, to meet with our guide, Menno. His friends call him the shaman. He knows the medicinal powers of local plants and notices even the quietest inhabitants of the treetops. Today he plans to show us a little different skill.
I will show you how to open the coconut without the machete if you're in survival. Good. Okay. You're lost in the jungle for about 3-4 weeks. You get the coconut. You don't know how to open it, you'll just starve and die. But if you know how to do the job, then you survive. So let me show you how I do it in survival then. With a nice rock. Go on the rock like a little monkey, and I hit. Then I turn. Turn again. Okay? You see what happened then? Then I pick. Then I pick. Now you see those steps? That can light you a very quick fire. Okay, so in survival you need a fire, you open the coconut, you're gonna get fire. We make mattresses, pillows of them things. Very good mulch for the garden too. So nothing wasted in there. Okay? Now, you thirsty? You don't want to waste the juice. You want to drink the juice that's in there. You don't want to waste it. Watch how many will crack up. I use that same rock. Some people use drill, some people use machete, but I use my hand. I crack. There. Top off.
Ansma Min Plantation was founded in the 18th century when Saint Lucia was a French colony. Menno knows every stone here, even the one you must give a wide berth to since it harbors a nest of wild red bees.
Our trip to find jewels of vegetation lead us to Diamante Botanical Garden on the outskirts of a town called Soufrière. The garden's allure is not only its beautiful tropical plants, but the promise of rejuvenation in its mineral spa. These were originally built directly over the hot springs by Ludwig XIV for his troops.
Even Josephine, wife of Napoleon Bonaparte, used to bathe in them and admire the local bromeliads, heliconias, orchids, and ginger plants.
Look, a hummingbird's nest, an inconspicuous but noteworthy little bird.
The 20th century also brought fame to the garden. It was under this waterfall, colored by mineral sediments, that Superman picked a rare orchid for Lois Lane.
Unlike love, the orchid no longer grows here. The increasing smell of rotten eggs assures us that we are on the right path approaching Sulphur Springs. We expected a larger crater because this path is described like a way to a volcano. It used to be possible to walk among the little pools until one day the edge gave way and a guide fell in. He survived, but with heavy burns. Since then, entry to the Devil's Field is forbidden.
The combination of heat and the smell of sulfur leaves my head spinning a little. The locals are used to the sulfur smell, although those who work here are regularly sent by the government for medical checkups of their lungs.
The provincial town of Soufrière is named after the sulfur springs. Early in the morning, we make our way to the Saturday market where the locals shop. We want to acquaint ourselves with both the ingredients of local kitchens and lifestyle.
The islanders guard their personal space, and any attempt to take pictures is a bit hazardous unless there is a prior arrangement.
There are things in which St. Lucians are uncompromising. The beautiful but poisonous lionfish, which appeared here by chance, are on the hunted list. Should they spread, it would seriously upset the fragile balance of life on the coral reef by eating other fish and crustaceans. Every diver is asked to report locations where the lionfish has been seen. Then local professional divers mark the spot with a buoy, and later, the fish is caught.
Soufrière was once inhabited by Indians, and to this day it is referred to as the spiritual center of the island. The French arrived in the 17th century and began to cultivate the very fertile land. The first European settlers tried to cultivate bananas. To this day, the streets keep its quiet French character. The touristic atmosphere, so typical to the northern part of the island, is absent here.
Directly under the watchful eye of the large Piton, in the most beautiful part of the island, life flows in its undisturbed rhythm. It's getting dark. With the sun's last rays, we slip under the waves of the warm Atlantic. Night dives are a doorway into a mysterious other world filled with thousands of remarkable organisms.
We can only see what is lit by the narrow section of our torch beam and Libor's camera lights. It is a strange feeling not to know what is hiding just a little outside the light. We move cautiously so as not to touch the fragile Venus's fan. That's the nickname of the beautiful Gorgonian coral.
They are a great refuge for many creatures. For instance, the trumpet fish, a fascinating predator who usually approaches its prey by hiding behind a larger plant-eating fish.
No dumb fish this one.
Strange creatures creep out of their hideouts.
I'm amazed by the beautiful shapes the coral has formed over hundreds of years by the casings of polyps, which slowly build around themselves the next level of coral reef out of carbonate calcite. Over time, the casings are reminiscent of antique vases.
We are lucky to see the pufferfish in its different stages of growth, all in one dive. A young one, a teenager, and an adult. This predominantly nocturnal fish is a bad swimmer. If it feels threatened, it is able to blow itself up by sucking in a large quantity of water, which results in its sharp spines bristling up and it becoming a spiky ball. Careful! Don't touch. Nighttime is usually hunting time for underwater creatures, so caution is advisable. Flashes of light and stressful situations may provoke an attack on perceived intruders.
The reclusive moray eel has inward bent needle-like teeth. If bitten, the bacteria from his last meal would most likely result in a nasty infection.
The only difference between a rock and a scorpionfish are its unobtrusive eyes. Almost impossible to spot in the dark, its poisonous spikes cause very painful and dangerous wounds just by contact.
Spiny lobsters, very impressive creatures that have been living on this planet more than 200 million years, appear mostly at night. They are sociable, but protect themselves against their main enemy, the octopus, by using sharp, spiny antennae, longer than their bodies.
The spiny and slipper lobsters may be buddies, since they have both been on the planet about the same amount of time.
A night sighting of one of these small frogfish is truly a stroke of luck.
The greatest concern of the clever squid is to have its supper as fast as it can so it does not become somebody else's supper. It hunts by aggressively attacking its prey and is capable of biting through even a hard shell in an instant. As with all cephalopods, this beauty with perfect vision lives fast and dies young, often only after having sex just once.
Perhaps that too is the reason why her beauty is so stunning and intense. The glow of phosphorescent Medusa we meet on our way up is a preview of the starry sky awaiting us.
Having spent several days on the southern part of the island, we are sailing north aboard the Sea Life to explore the capital. Castries is the business center of St. Lucia, and about a third of the 160,000 islanders live here. The town was founded by the British, and it has survived several fires, hurricanes, and even 14 changes in ownership before it was finally declared British in 1814. The islanders had to wait for their independence from the British until 1979. Due to fires in the past, the great majority of government and business buildings were built next to the wooden ones, only in the second half of the last century.
Life hasn't changed much in the last half century, in spite of there being great social differences amongst the people. The locals can speak English, but amongst themselves they speak mostly patois, based on French.
St. Lucia boasts the highest number of Nobel Prize winners per capita. The Nobel Prize for Economy to Sir William Arthur Lewis in 1979, and Derek Walcott for Literature in 1992.
The Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception shows signs of the St. Lucian's roots. While the building itself is in the French style, the interior combines influences of Carib and African cultures. Most of the islanders are Catholic of African origin. They say, to worry is a sin. It would mean we do not believe in God.
Neither is worry in vogue on board the most luxurious catamarans anchored in Marigot Bay. In any case, the northern part of the island is the shop window of the most modern yachts. Finally, we too are sailing off to look for new discoveries.
While our Captain Wolfgang is writing funny stories and observations from our life as yachties into his ship log, we regard the colorful spectacle of the rugged shore.
The fishermen are happy. It was a bountiful day. The sea is their only source of income. Despite the primitive appearance of local methods of cleaning and dealing with fish, we have to admit you can always get the freshest and tastiest fish here. The local catch even supplies the most luxurious restaurants.
Pokemon. Mother spice.
Mahi mahi, which means strong, strong, is a favorite delicacy. It has a fine yet firm meat with slightly sweet undertones and no fishy smell.
The typical fish market odors sent me out among the local children. The pictures in my cameras fascinated them almost as much as I am fascinated by their bold behavior. Away from the mainstream culture, the Rastafarians live as devotees to nature.
They don't drink alcohol and they don't smoke tobacco, although they do smoke a lot. They do not use any electricity or modern conveniences, only what nature provides. Their attitude towards the environment was the inspiration for Sharon from Zion Lion Organic Farm.
They cut a piece from the coconut shell and polish it, and that's the spoon for eating the food. Very nice. Renewable energy, renewable resource, no pollution, you can throw it, no pollution. And sometimes with the ash of the fire, because that's very clean, that's not dirty, that's very clean, and it cleans good. Cleans it nice.
No, we live on this mountain between these two mountains of St. Lucia. It's one of the best parts in our community. It's a part of Soufrière, and this mountain is a high mountain too. Strangers have always kept looking at this mountain over there. So what I had to say, the last part I had to bring with you all here, is this part of the world will be one of the best in future. My lunch, rice and dashin, what calling again, these kind of fruits, pumpkin and such a roast sardine and some oil, some cocoa tea and some coconut milk with that to it.
I sometimes call it the natural farm because there's no chemical, no fertilizer applied to it. Just water, the dry weeds and a little bit of pit moss every now and then. In the farm is the spring onion or the chive. This here is the coriander, the rosemary, cashew nut tree. It's very juicy. We can also eat the fruit. Pick the nuts when it's brown in color and allow it to dry a little bit more in the sun.
When I applied for the Guinness Book of Record, I had 20,500 dives with 6.4 years bottom time. And I kept on diving until last year. I got a card from SSI, that's Scuba Schools International. Right now, I have over 7 years bottom time because when I applied for the Guinness Book, I already had 6.4 years, and I said, there's a few years ago. So right now I have over 7 years bottom time and over 27,000 dives for sure. At Anshasne, we have so many different dive sites and there are so many things to see, such as seahorses, frogfish, scorpionfish, lots of turtles and so on. And the marine lives are very, very, and there are over 150 different species of fishes that has been documented. And whenever we go in the water with students, anything of interest we see, we point it to them. That's what most people who know about me, that's what they call me, the human submarine. Well, I have nothing against the name. They said it's only a submarine can stay underwater for this amount of years.
Victor dives into the Caribbean waters almost daily, frequently playing guide to novices. He is a patient guardian of his charges in the undersea world, mastering a gift only a few possess. Underwater, his enthusiasm is infectious. While we float together with Victor in his favorite locale, fittingly named Fairyland, I begin to perceive the charm of the coral world much more intensely.
Nowhere else on Earth can you find such numbers of rich and vivid colors, shapes, and life forms as in a coral reef. It's hard to believe that the underwater calcium cliffs and whole islands have been created by millions of tiny creatures, coral polyps.
After so many years spent here, Victor, the human submarine, knows every shape and creature living in this area. We, however, need a very keen eye to notice even the smallest ones. For instance, the flamingo tongue snail.
I love the water. I feel more comfortable in the water than driving my own car on the surface. I wish I could build a house under the water and stay right there. I would be a happy man.
We are leaving the warm, peaceful waters of the Caribbean Sea and head for the wild waters of the Atlantic on the southeast coast's Anse de Sable, meaning sandy beach. Normally, this is the playground of surfers and kite surfers because of the strong and steady winds. Today, local mothers are showing their offspring here.
The sea is not only a source of pleasure, but a source of food, to which there is no limit to fantasy. In many places, a water taxi is the fastest and most comfortable way to travel. These boys are promising to fulfill our wish to anchor in the bay near the pitons, swearing to find us a free buoy at a nice spot, for a small fee, of course. With little time left before sunset, we decide to trust them, despite past experiences with shady characters, and it pays off.
A floating fruit bar, a very original occupation. It's our friend Philippe and Martin's favorite shop.
I don't know, every people want.
They even have rum. Caribbean rum.
Adios! Adios! Hasta pronto!
Even our guide, who will lead us on the demanding ascent of Large Piton, chooses the nicer and faster way via sea. We're extremely lucky. Whales and dolphins pose just several meters from us. We did not expect such a psychic moral boost for our hard undertaking.
special tree you find only on the piton. It's good for when you have some bad bruise on the skin. You just take one of the leaf, you warm it up by the fire, and after you warm for 5 minutes, you put it on the place you have the blister, and you tie it up for 3 or 4 days, and after, everything disappears. We got the French name for it by the name of shadow benny. If the weather was nice, everything is sweet and nice, just like the mango. That's why we call Santa Lucia part of heaven.
To make the best of it, we are taking our camera and tripod to the summit of Large Piton. Its peak of 798 meters above sea level has commanded the area for close to 40 million years.
This well-deserved view is awe-inspiring, but the journey to the depths of the Caribbean tempts me much more. After the grueling climb, I can't wait to experience the liberating feeling of weightlessness again. We descend into intoxicating silence of the deep, where the Lesline is waiting for us, sitting majestically on the sandy bottom at a depth of some 20 meters. I like meeting old wrecks. I sense the vessel's past and can imagine life on board as it might have been when they plowed the oceans in their glory. The cargo ship Lesline did not sink by some unfortunate fluke. It was scuttled intentionally in 1986 to create an artificial coral reef in a place where nature itself did not manage to create one.
In the same way the roots of trees digest the walls of old mills to change them into shelter for creatures on shore, the walls of this ship are transformed into an undersea community of corals, sponges, and dozens of types of organisms. I am drawn by the discoveries of this mysterious world. I must move very carefully so as not to catch my gear inside the old machine room and not stir up silt with the sudden move of my fins.
We have disturbed a huge crayfish in a dark corner of the machine room. Just under the stairs, he is guarding the way to the upper deck. We carefully swim further and inspect young coral formations in life, which has found a hideout and food here. If the corals manage to keep growing with the same intensity as they have been, in a few years, Lesline will be unrecognizable. Our air is running low, and so, unfortunately, we must return to the surface.
St. Lucia inspires our enthusiasm for adventure on land as well. This time we are going to a rainforest in the very heart of the island in an effort to find the St. Lucia parrot. As luck would have it, after several hours of searching, we managed to spot the well-camouflaged parrot amongst the branches. Although the bird is the national symbol of the island, there are only several hundred of them living here today.
Their decline is due in part to man's encroachment on large swaths of the rainforest. Only 10% of the original forests remain.
Emerald Farm is just outside of the little town of Soufrière. This is where we get all our fresh organic fruit and vegetables from. We also get herbs and spices here, so we're just going to take a little walk around and we'll show you what's grown here. So as you can see, we have a whole recycling program here. All the food wastage that we have at the hotel, we collect it and we use it for composting. The cocoa, this is where we get a chocolate from, and the process to get from this stage to get chocolate is a very long one. To cut a long story short, basically we take the pods out, we polish them, and then we roast them, and then we put them in a process with sugar, and we just blend down the chocolate, and depending on how much sugar we add to it depends on the cocoa. It's a very slimy kind of a seed, and like I say, these get polished and then roasted off. You see the textures in there, and the chocolate.
Just skin it up then.
Here we make our own chocolate from scratch using our local cocoa beans. We harvest them at the farm, we ferment them, then we dry them. And then what we do over at the kitchen is we take the actual beans, we roast them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. And then what that does is you get the shell, you crack it, and you get the shell from the nib. So what we have here is the nibs, which break up like that. These are the hulls which go in the garbage. And then we take that and we grind it up. We grind this up in the machine for 22 hours, and then what we get is chocolate as our final product. Here at Jade Mountain, we exclusively use St. Lucian cocoa beans for all of our amenities, all of our guests, our desserts. If you're having a wedding and you order a wedding cake, your chocolate wedding cake is prepared only using St. Lucian chocolate. When you're tasting cocoa, the best way to taste it is using all of your senses, okay? First thing you want to do, again, like I said in the lab, is to smell. Get that nice aromatic, that's when you get your taste buds ready. And then you want to take a bite. You want to taste a nice snap. Make sure and wow, I love chocolate.
Me too. In fact, chocolate is not the only thing attacking my senses. None of the 24 rooms of the organically shaped Jade Mountain Hotel has a fourth wall, so as to offer a continuous view of the surroundings and a connection with the wild nature. Apartments are accessed by individual gangways to enter one's own galaxy, rather a garden. Hummingbirds make their home here. It is a joy to watch them. They're the only species of bird that can fly backwards, and incredibly, they flap their wings up to 90 times per second.
It is quite possible that days in paradise on Earth pass faster than what we're used to at home. The end of our latest escape to nature is definitely drawing near. The most powerful experiences for me are always from the undersea world, so I insist that we dive into the Caribbean silence once more. I sense there is a very nice meeting waiting for us. Finally, we can sail out.
As we pass the Pitons and the Anse Chastanet Bay for the last time, I'm trying to imprint them into my memory. Libor can't wait. I am fascinated by a school of fish and their intelligence. Hundreds of fish manage to swim in unison without any planned choreography.
The sea world is a great inspiration for us. Unfortunately, its beauty is being destroyed by human activity more and more every day. Turtles, they have survived the dinosaurs, and their evolution approaches perfection.
Turtles have an outstanding sense of direction. They lay their eggs in the same place where they were born. During long voyages, they find their way by reflection of light off the sea surface, by stars, sun, and their ability to sense changes in the Earth's magnetism. Unfortunately, they cannot foresee where there are traps waiting for them. Apart from being hunted and their eggs being collected, the turtles get caught in fishing nets, and the sea pollution also causes them great harm.
Here in the reservation, my beautiful guide is safe. As if she knew, she swims within reach of me, and she poses in front of my lens for a close-up. There are many beautiful places on Earth, but those where the people's passion for life and their humility towards nature go hand in hand are exceptional. Our underwater encounters were also in many ways exceptional and quite unique. Together with her surrounding waters, St. Lucia is such a place. We can attest to that from our own experiences. We are convinced that however different these visited worlds may seem to us, they have one thing in common that is often overlooked: a longing for happiness, peace, and most of all, hope for the future.